I'll be okay. Thank you, though. I get you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Want to confirm? We have the signal. You guys are all good. Okay, you're all good. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I see my sound bar going up and down. Okay, sweet. Mhm. Yeah. No. Yeah. This is more like this is also like the replay machine too, so I can get the replays up here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. This is the first for me calling a game in a classroom. On your YouTube.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to high school football action presented to you on Cable 14. Today we are at beautiful Bishop Ryan Secondary School in Hamilton, Ontario on a sunny but fairly frigid Tuesday with the GHAC Senior Football Championship being played between the Bishop Ryan Celtics and the Assumption Crusaders. Both teams are playing for a chance to compete in OFSA after this, so this game has massive implications for both sides. Assumption, a powerhouse in the Burlington area here, and Bishop Ryan, kind of an up-and-comer in the Hamilton High School football landscape in the previous few years, with them exploding this year, obviously winning the Hamilton City Championship earlier on against Bishop Tonus, the Titans having been the previous winners for 3 years in a row. It's perfect weather for football here. Both teams are ready to get set, ready to get going. You can see how eager these players are as you get a look there at some of the Bishop Ryan Celtics getting ready to play for what many of them will be the biggest football game of their entire careers. And obviously there are the opposing Crusaders getting hyped up and getting ready to go. It's interesting to note the paths that these two teams took to get here. Bishop Ryan defeated the Corpus Christi Longhorns in the semifinal game to take their spot in the GHAC Senior Football Championship game, while Assumption, having already played Corpus Christi in the regular season, defeated the previously unbeaten Nelson Lords in the semifinals to get to this spot. So all in all, this should be a very entertaining matchup, but what's interesting about it is that for many people in this area that follow the football scene closely, these are two teams that many people did not expect to be here at this very moment. And the Celtics are making their way onto the field. It looks like they're getting set up in a return formation, which only means that the Crusaders will defer and therefore receive the ball at the start of the second. Packed crowd here. It's just buzzing with energy in the stands beneath me. And let's get it on. This is going to be a true test of football supremacy in this area. And you can tell a lot of these players are excited to potentially attain bragging rights after they finish this game. As I said before, it's fairly cold outside, so these players, they'll warm up in just a few minutes after playing a couple of series. But for the fans out there, there is a bit of a chill. Not too much wind today, so there will be some good chances for the quarterbacks to air out the ball. As we're about to get started right here, Crusaders are about to kick this ball off. Number 5, Tiago Brown, is going to get this game started. It's the GHAC Senior Football Championship, folks, between the Assumption Crusaders and the Bishop Ryan Celtics. And here we go. Let's play ball. Celtics receive it. Returning up near the 40-yard line. And already there's some chippiness between these two teams as the ball carrier was brought down hard. I believe the returner was number 4, Lucas Underhill. As the Celtics are going to get set up at the 39-yard line, led by quarterback Jack Redmond, who's been extremely efficient for them this year and just a pleasure to watch. Here's Redmond, surrounded by a couple of backs. He's got motion behind him. That's number 2, Ben Kingston, as he hands the football off. Nice power running there from the ball carrier. Gets down to the 45-yard line for a nice start to this first drive for Bishop Ryan. And if there's one thing that we do know about the Celtics this year, because we've covered a lot of their games, is that they are explosive, to say the least. On offense, defense, special teams, they're just able to make magic happen in front of you. And they're one of those teams where if you blink, you might miss something important. Redmond in the shotgun, motion again behind him. He's got 2 backs, one to his right, one behind him. As Redmond throws the ball, completes it to Kingston. Gets down at the 55-yard line right at midfield. What a nice start for the Celtics on the opening 2 plays of this game. As you can see the replay here, Redmond, he absolutely knows where he's going to go Kingston catches it, makes a nice first move, and then gets the first down. But Redmond, you can see how in tune he is with the rest of his offense and the chemistry that he has with his playmakers there. New set of downs here for the Celtics. Redmond in the offense at the 55. A little bit of a weird handoff there, but still the ball gets into the hands of the ball carrier. Gains about 3 or 4 yards on the ground there. Going to set up a second and call it 6 or 7. Yeah, and you see Redmond, the handoff is a little bit weird there. The ball carrier is number 6, Kyler Johnson, and Johnson, credit to him, is able to hold on to the ball and then get to where he needs to be, gaining about 3 or 4 yards there. Second down. Here's Redmond. Hands the ball off to number 33. That's Jesse Vaccarella. And Vaccarella's going to get a first down on some nice power running. Crusaders struggling a little bit to maintain this Celtics rushing offense as Vaccarella, you see, dekes and dodges through his gaps before powering forward for the first down. This is the versatility that this offense has. They're wonderful to watch, and one thing that's special about them is they don't just have one star player. Everyone's a star, everyone scores points, and everyone makes big plays. New set of downs. Here's Redmond, takes a snap, looks right, he's going to throw it. Intended for Ben Kingston, but that ball is just too far out of bounds. And if you've watched some Bishop Ryan football games this year and last year, you will definitely know the name Ben Kingston, as he is a game breaker, and he has the potential and the abilities to absolutely turn a game on a dime in his advantage. So definitely someone the Celtics are glad to have in their receiving room. Second down, Redmond takes a snap. He's looking, facing a little bit of pressure, and he's going to try to complete that ball to number 7, and that's going to be a very late hit on the Assumption defense. Number 3, Joshua George, was the DB who came in and absolutely leveled Milo Domanski to force a penalty. And in a championship game like this is the GHAC Senior Football Championship game. You can't be making penalties like that. That is just undisciplined football right there, and the refs are always going to call that, as they should. As you can see there, the Crusaders are getting pushed back. Celtics working with a lot of momentum right now. The penalty was not on George, excuse me, that's my apologies, folks. It was on number 2, Henry Asarika Chan. Vaccarella is going to get the ball, and he's going to try to plunge forward for some hard-earned yards, but only manages to get a couple of them, excuse me. Second down for Redmond in the offense. Two backs near him. Redmond is going to look right. He's going to step up in the pocket, and that will likely go down as a rush of a few yards because of the momentum that Redmond had, but credit on the tackle goes to number 99, Hugh Scott, who was able to track Redmond's movements and then bring down the silky ball carrier. And there's the replay here. Redmond, he tries to look right, steps up in the pocket and tries to make it happen himself, but Hugh Scott has the angle on him and then brings him down with relative ease. So far, the interior defensive line for the Crusaders has been quite stellar, as not only did they make that tackle on Redmond, but Jesse Vaccarella has had some trouble rushing up the middle, as the Celtics are going to get set for a field goal attempt. Number 5, Luka Horvat, with a booming left leg, puts the first points on the board for the Bishop Ryan Celtics in this championship game here. And even though they weren't able to punch it in for a touchdown, 3 points that's a really good way to get this game started. The pressure that these players must be feeling, and the implications that not only does this game have for the players, but also for these programs in general. For them to get some points on the board in the first series, that's a very good thing for the Celtics, as the Crusaders are going to get ready to answer back. They get the return team set up. Horvat getting ready to boot this ball away. Horvat getting the spot correct. Here's Horvat and the rest of the Celtics kickoff team getting ready to answer back, and then hopefully for their sakes put a stop to the Crusaders' first series as the Crusaders make their return. Number 12, Frankie Perry, the ball carrier, brought down around the 35-yard line. Nice little return for Perry and the Crusaders. And here we get to meet the Assumption offense for the first time today, as well as we get to meet the Bishop Ryan defense for the first time. A lot of playmakers on this star-studded Celtics defense. Crusaders coming out in shotgun formation. Quarterback has 3 to his left and 2 receivers to his right. Takes a snap, he's gonna look to his left, and he's going to complete the first pass of the game to for the Crusaders' first pass of the game to number 14, Zach Fromell, on a nice little outside button hook. Fromell's reception moves the chains for the Crusaders. As they start this game out with a nice quick pass out to the flats. Quarterback takes the snap and hands off to the running back. That's Perry. And Perry is brought down only after a couple. Involved on that tackle was number 99 on the Celtics, Julian Cook. And here you'll see the replay again. The quarterback hands off to Perry, and then automatically the interior of the offensive line closes off. Cook makes the tackle. Also involved on that play was number 88, Kevin Kalina. Here's quarterback Tiago Sousa Diaz looking right, throwing on the run, and completes a pass to his receiver, who's gonna be tackled close to the chains for a nice gain there for the Crusaders. And here Diaz rolls right, has a man in his face, and then throws on a dime to Perry. They're trying to get Perry involved early in multiple different facets of this game, including rushing and receiving. Only 5.5 minutes left in this first quarter as time has flown by rather quickly. Third down here. A reminder to the folks at home once again that 3 downs are played in senior football here in Hamilton, whereas 4 downs are used in the junior game. And the Crusaders do the analytically smart thing and punt it away. Short punt though, ball bounces around the 40-yard line. And there's a flag that is up in the air, but Ben Kingston is going to make a run at returning this football. And what a tackle made by number 22, Brody Weber, in bringing down Kingston. Weber did not have an advantageous angle at all, and credit to him, used some great speed and some great tracking in order to bring down Kingston. And Kingston here, just from this angle, he's got the advantage, but Weber comes in like he was shot out of a cannon, and Kingston tries to make a move, tries to stiff arm him, but Weber was not having any of that and brings the ball carrier down. Pretty short. Looks like the flag on the play was against the Crusaders, however, as the Celtics offense has moved up close to the 45-yard line. Redmond on first down, hands off to Vaccarella, and Vaccarella on a nice counter. He's going to have the angle. He's going to get the first down and more. He's still on his feet, Jesse Vaccarella. What a run. Gets the ball over midfield. And I think that is the type of result that the Celtics were expecting as they were using Vaccarella so much in the first series. And here's the nice counter route. Brilliant blocking along the right side of the offensive line by number 61. And now Vaccarella just goes to work, uses his strong frame to bowl over some players. It's going to get a first down here for Bishop Ryan as Vaccarella is going to get the ball once again. And once again, he's got a lot of room to run. He's over the 35-yard line, still on his feet. Down at the 25.
Again, first down for your Celtics.
That's back-to-back bruising runs from Jesse Vaccarella. Let's give credit once again to the offensive line. The trap blocking there from number 71 and 97 leads the way for Vaccarella. He bursts through the middle of the field, lowers the shoulder, and it's going to take more than 2 Crusaders to bring him down. This offense, this Bishop Ryan offense, moving with some serious momentum now. Vaccarella again. This time the line is closed off as the Crusaders bring him down. Involved in that play was number 7, Jurgi Dragic. And Bishop Ryan tries to go with their tried and true method for this drive with giving the ball to Vaccarella once again, but the Crusaders are ready this time. And they swallow him up and bring him down pretty quickly. Going to force a 2nd and long now. Redmond in the single back look once again. This time he drops back to throw, and he throws to his left, completes the ball to Kyler Johnson. Johnson bumbles the catch a little bit, but hangs on, and he's going to be close to a first down. Redmond spreading this ball out. Play calling for Bishop Ryan has been wonderful so far, as you can see Redmond dropping back, completes a ball just over the middle to Kyler Johnson, and Johnson obviously breaks the first tackle, but some nice plays that this Celtics offense has been stringing together. Only 2 minutes left in the first. Redmond in the offense in the red zone by now. 3rd down. And they go for it on 3rd down, and the Celtics believe they have it. Tough look to tell here. But this can be quite a significant moment if the Celtics do get this first down, and they do. The Celtics get a first down on 3rd and short to create a new set of downs well into the red zone. And if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet my money that Vaccarella is going to get over 2.5 carries in the next couple of plays. Clock is still running. Here's Redmond. He's going to hand that ball to Vaccarella. He's going to let him to go to work. Vaccarella gains about 5 or 6 there.
Another solid game by your offense. Make some noise.
Vaccarella has been used quite a lot to start this game out, and why would they change anything else? He's running with a full head of steam, and he's been producing great results every time he carries the football. 2nd down now. Redmond flanked by 2 backs, hands it off to Vaccarella, and Vaccarella's going to try to bounce out to the left outside corner, and I think he fumbled the football. Jesse Vaccarella fumbled the football, and it looks like the Crusaders might have recovered it.
Fumble honestly recovered by
And number 16 on the Crusaders, Christian King, is going to be credited with the strip tackle on Jesse Vaccarella. We see the replay right here. Vaccarella gets the handoff, tries to work his way to the outside corner, and then 16 in on the tackle, stuffs his hand in, and then rips it out. His teammate falls on it. And then if you're the part of the coaching staff for these Crusaders, you can't be more pleased with a play like that. The momentum is against you. It's all against you. And then yet your player comes in, strips the ball away, and then gives your team a whole new life almost. Here's Sousa Diaz, flanked by 2 running backs of his own. No high safeties for the Celtics, though, as Diaz is going to keep it himself. He's going to gain a couple right there as That will
Second
likely
down
be
coming up.
the final play of this first quarter. As at the end of the first, Celtics lead 3-0. Sousa Diaz is going to keep it himself on a little option. Excuse me, there's going to be one more play left, I was just told. But Sousa Diaz keeps it on an option, tries to go up the middle, and the front seven for the Celtics don't let him get much more. So here is the last play of the first quarter. Sousa Diaz takes a snap, throws to his left, tried to complete the ball to number 7, GHAC Dragic, on an out route in the flats, but the ball was overthrown by quite a bit.
Well done, defense. Let's go, Celtics!
So that incomplete pass technically officially signifies the end of the first quarter as the Celtics lead 3-0. A lot of great football to be played. A lot of great football has been played already. The score may not indicate it, but throughout the entirety of the first quarter, the Celtics dominated, driving the ball down the field and taking quite a bit of time off the clock. The defense has been amazing as well. But the Crusaders are still in this game, and there's still 3 more quarters of football to be played in this GHAC Senior High School Football Championship game, presented on Cable 14. As the teams switch sides now, you have to wonder what kind of offensive approach the Crusaders are going to go with here on this third down. And it looks like they're going to punt it away. That's the smart thing to do. They're backed up well into their own territory. As Tiago Brown is going to punt this ball away. 2 returners back for the Celtics. Of course, you have Ben Kingston and Underhill, as Brown takes the kneel in the end zone for a safety, which is going to increase Bishop Ryan's lead to 5-0. Likely the smartest option there in taking the knee, as opposed to punting the ball away to 2 very dangerous receivers and giving them only half the field to work with. There's a look at some of the Celtics on the sideline, eager to get in and get some minutes in this monumental championship game. Here's Redmond on first down. Takes the snap, hands off to Vaccarella, and Vaccarella is going to go to work on the inside. Nowhere to run there as he's brought down hard by Raf Tejada, excuse me.
Second down for your Celtics.
And Vaccarella has nowhere to go here as Tejada meets him right in the middle of the offensive line, and from there it's just a battle of willpower. Who wants to get it more? And on that play, Tejada proved to want it more as he brought down Vaccarella after only a few. Second down now, Redmond. Looks left, throws over the middle, completes the ball to number 1. That's Andrew Centorami. And Centorami stays on his feet for a little bit more. What a big play to open things up. You see the replay right here. Redmond takes the snap, knows where he's going immediately, and then throws a ball on a rope over the head of the defender and then into the hands of Centorami, who is not an easy guy to bring down given his tall frame. Andrew Centorami with the big catch and run there. Here's Redmond, flips the ball to Kingston on a little sweep, and Kingston is going to try to use his speed to round off the edge there. And he'll gain about 7 or 8 yards there. And that will be ruled as a first down after Ben Kingston's jet sweep there. He does seem to be limping a little bit. But yeah, Kingston is, what a hard player to bring down. What a fun player to watch too, as he can make anything happen, rounds off the outside, makes a nice little move there. But you can see the way that this defense accounts for him. They know who he is. They see, you can see the hairs on their neck stand up when he gets the ball, as Vaccarella is going to get it once again, bowl over for about 3 or 4 yards. But Kingston is one of those players that will make a welcome addition to just about any U Sports football roster out there. And on this play here, Vaccarella tries to make a stutter step and go to the right side, but he's met by a nickel corner who meets him down near the line of scrimmage. Vaccarella had a couple of big runs in Bishop Ryan's last offensive series that ended in a fumble, but since then has kind of cooled off a little bit as the Crusaders seem to have kind of figured out his running gaps and his favorite lanes to run through.
Second down.
Eight and a half minutes remaining in this second quarter.
Go Celtics!
Bishop Ryan only leading 5-0 on a field goal attempt and a safety that was conceded in the end zone. Here's Redmond on second down. Looks to his left and tries to complete the ball to, I believe, number 44. Falls just wide for an incomplete pass. And Redmond here, this is weird snap for him, but this is a throw that he typically makes. And I'm not sure if that is more his fault or the receiver not making a good enough play on the ball, but just a weird throw that you don't usually see dropped from Redmond to one of his receivers. Horvat boots this ball away. What a great punt. Bounces at the 10-yard line and into the hands of number 3, Joshua George. George trucks a defender for a couple of extra yards.
First down, Celtics!
And we're going to get the replay here. It looks like Horvat was touched. And yes, he was. He was ran into immediately after he booted that ball away, and that's going to give the Celtics a new set of downs. It's the second instance that the Crusaders have shown a sense of undisciplined football. The first penalty obviously came in the game earlier on when Henry Asarika Chan hit a receiver very late. And then now you see the return team on punt for the Crusaders force a bad penalty. Here's Redmond. Throws a screen pass to number 7. This is Milo Demansky. And Demansky tries to go inside, only gains about a couple. And here's Redmond, throws the screen to Demansky, and Demansky immediately tries to split the 2 tacklers, but is brought down by Dragic. Here's Redmond on second. He's going to throw to his right, and he completes a tough pass to number 6, Kyler Johnson. That was a risky throw there, as it looked like that ball could have been picked off from this angle, but credit to Redmond, he fit it right where it needed to be, and Kyler Johnson got the catch. Here is the replay as Redmond takes a couple of seconds to find out where he's going to throw to, and then luckily Dragic moved out of the way, which gave Redmond enough time to identify Johnson as a receiver he wanted to complete the ball to, and throws on a rope. Vaccarella with the handoff, tries to stutter step inside. He'll gain about 2 yards on that play, 2 or 3.
Short gain on the play. Second down.
Second down.
Celtics make some noise.
Vaccarella just has had nowhere to run for the past couple of plays. Redmond throws to his left, completes the ball to Centorami, and Centorami gets down near the 2-yard line.
First and
Bishop Ryan starting to exploit Assumption with the short passing attack there, as Redmond has been utilizing a number of screens and short throws, including this one right here to Centorami. It's going to set up a first and goal, or just about. Here's Redmond, going to keep it himself, and he scores the first touchdown of the game. Jack Redmond with the keeper is going to momentarily extend this lead to 11-0. But what a great drive from the Celtics offense, including Redmond, who quite methodically and surgically led his team down the field into the red zone area. Centorami with a great catch as well. And it has paid off for the Celtics, as they are now up 11-0, and they have been completely exploiting this Crusader defense in a number of different facets. So if you're Assumption, you are constantly thinking for a way to get out of this pickle that you're in, as Horvat makes the extra point. He's going to make this a 12-0 ball game with just over 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Here's the replay. Redmond, it looked like he was going to flip it to Kyler Johnson, but I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication on the play, but he decided to keep it himself, and it ended up being the right thing. It was a fake. It was a fake to Kyler Johnson, and then Redmond decided to keep it himself. It was all part of the trickery. And the Celtics now up 12-0. Bishop Ryan going to hope to have a nice defensive stand here against the Crusaders, who likely are going to empty out their bag of tricks, as they don't want to go into halftime down 12 points. Here's Perry. He's going to try to attack the middle. Perry, nice little return here. He's past the 40, past the 50-yard line. The only hope is number 11, and Perry is tackled past the 40, call it around the 43-yard line. What a monster return for Frankie Perry. That is the kind of result on special teams that this Crusaders team needs, and Perry just gave it to them. You can see here, look at the shiftiness and the versatility that he has in his game. He's not the tallest guy, but he can make things happen, and as you're seeing right here, there's just no one around to tackle him. There's Perry putting the team on his back as his Crusaders are down 12-0. Here's first down for Souza Diaz. And Souza Diaz completes the ball to number 11, Ben Naismith. And Naismith is brought down by a couple of Celtics in cohesion, including number 12, Levi Snyder, and number 11, Adriano Infernari. And Souza Diaz there, it looked like he held on to the ball just a little too long. Had he found Naismith in motion, in stride earlier on, he might have been able to help gain a few more extra yards on that play instead of having Naismith bowled backwards by some Celtics. Souza Diaz in the shotgun. Takes the snap. He's got motion to his left, and now he's going to look to his right. He's going to air it out for number 3, Joshua George, and George jumps over Nico DiFilippo for a massive touchdown. And there will be a taunting penalty or an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after that touchdown catch, as George flipped the ball into DiFilippo's face as he was sitting on the ground. But what a way to answer back for Assumption. And what style, too, throwing the ball up, putting the game into your receiver's hands, into one of your playmakers' hands. And from the way we've seen George throughout this game, we know that the coaching staff loves utilizing him and his athleticism. As the Crusaders are going to get set for a field goal pretty soon. this is going to be a 5-point game before you know it. And Tiago Braun makes the extra point attempt to cut this lead down to 5 points. I still cannot get over that touchdown catch. But what might even be better than the catch was the throw. We know the athleticism that it took for Joshua George to come down with that football. First of all, he had to jump higher than his defender, and he had to be stronger than his defender, as you're going to see right here. Here's the replay. Sousa Diaz unleashes an absolute ball on a rope here, and then he puts it in the place where it needs to be. If that ball is a foot behind or a foot in front of Joshua George, it comes down as an incomplete pass. But George is put in the position he needs to be to come down with that touchdown catch. And now we have a ball game in this GHAC Senior Football Championship, as Joshua George just made a highlight play to remember here.
Make some noise, Celtics!
And just like that, Tiago Braun is going to give the ball back to the Celtics after the Crusaders offense scored so quickly. Here's Ben Kingston. And Kingston is going to flip that ball to Lucas Underhill, who makes a move to bounce it to the outside. Underhill is past the 50, past the 55, and then goes out of bounds around the 48-yard line. What a nice little bit of trickery there from this return team on Bishop Ryan. Kingston with the heads-up play and flipping it to Underhill, and Underhill making a beautiful move to gain that extra 10 yards. And then there's the move right there. Quick stutter step, and then he's pushed out just around the 50-yard line. Crosses midfield, however, and then gives Redmond and the Celtics offense another advantageous chance to score more points.
Make some noise, Celtics. Quiet in the stands.
Crowd has not lost any energy or fervor, as they are still as excited as ever to be here, as Kyler Johnson is going to get a short little pass. He's going to get forced out around the 30-yard line.
For your Celtics!
It's going to be second and short now after Kyler Johnson's catch. Just under 4 minutes to play in this first half. And there is a play that goes wrong as Ben Kingston's reverse bobbles off his hands. And now the Crusaders, in a moment, in an absolute reversal of fortune for Bishop Ryan, the Crusaders come up with the football. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the result of just trying to do too much, but we're going to see right here. Redmond tries to reverse the ball to Kingston behind him, and it looks like Kingston just was not expecting that pitch at that moment, as the ball bounced off Kingston's chest and then into the backfield, and before you know it, the Crusaders have recovered this football. Number 19, Tyler Chisholm, was the one who fell on the ball to recover it, as Assumption is going to get set up at the 49-yard line, at their own 49-yard line, excuse me. Sousa Diaz is going to look left. He's going to try his own luck at running the ball, going for the first down, makes a man miss. He's got the first down now, and then stops the clock by going out of bounds past the 45-yard line. What nice calm playmaking there from Sousa Diaz, and realizing at a very early instance that he can make a play himself and then going out and doing it. As you can see, he looked left there, and then as soon as the hole opens, Sousa Diaz makes his move, makes a man miss there. A nice little shifty juke move from him, and then forces his way out of bounds. as this play here with Frankie Perry being the ball carrier gets stopped quite quickly.
Second down. Defense!
And as you can see right here, Perry gets stopped immediately by a couple of Celtics, including 0 Jacob Grajales and number 12 Levi Snyder. And a much-deserved water break is going on for these players who have been playing their hearts out for nearly 24 minutes of hard-hitting football, as there is a championship on the line here and also a chance to compete in OFSA.
Fans in the stands, let's make some noise for our BR defense!
And here is Sousa Diaz and the Crusaders getting set up on second down here. He takes the snap, looks right, throws a bullet to Henry Asarika Chan. What a nice pitch and catch there from those two. Chan smartly gets out of bounds and stops the clock as the Crusaders are inching their way ever so slightly towards the end zone. They're past the 35-yard line now. Sousa Diaz rolls left. He's going to roll back right, and he is going to be sacked. That's number 88, Kevin Kalina, in on the sack, shedding his block and bringing down the opposing quarterback. And then here, Sousa Diaz just takes too much time. The ball needs to be gotten rid of immediately, and Kalina, credit to him, takes advantage of the play and brings down Sousa Diaz as he's trying to make his way to the right side of the pocket. But that is a ball that probably should have been thrown earlier on, as it would have prevented the big loss of yards that sack had. He's going to bring up a 2nd and long for Sousa Diaz and the Crusaders offense as he takes the snap. Dancing around a little bit, looking for someone, makes a man miss, but eventually he is brought down hard by number 97, Daniel Olugbaju. Nice closing speed, and what a nice angle that Olugbaju had on that play. As this Celtics defensive line, this front seven in general, has just been causing havoc for the Assumption Crusaders. As you're going to see right here, Sousa Diaz trying to run away from the Celtics, and he's trying to make too much happen here on his own. There's no one that's open down the field, as the Celtics secondary has been really good for the most part, besides the Joshua George touchdown catch. And now we're going to get a pretty long field goal attempt here from Tiago Braun and the Crusaders, as he's going to try to boot this one, and it falls just wide as Ben Kingston is going to come up with the return. Kingston still in bounds, crossing through to the middle, and Ben Kingston is going to score a touchdown. Ben Kingston is going to score a touchdown after bouncing outside and then cutting inside on a missed field goal attempt. Touchdown Celtics. Wow. What great blocking and what great running from Ben Kingston, but I think the onus on that play needs to fall on the missed tackles. Ben Kingston ran for about 10 yards down the left sideline where he should have been pushed out of bounds, and nobody was near him. That is poor positioning, poor tackling, and then it results in a big, big play for number 2, Ben Kingston, and the Celtics offenses, as they now lead 18-7 in this ball game. Here, let's take a look at the replay. Kingston immediately goes to the outside. And it didn't look like he was going to get that much more. That should have been a tackle. And then 0 should have been closer. That could have been a little bit of a trip up there. But instead, Kingston has nobody touch him and then runs quite freely to the end zone for a touchdown. What a way to start this game as we have an injured Crusader on the field, and that's not good because that is Frankie Perry, and Perry has been kind of the main man in all facets of offensive football for the Crusaders to start this game out, as well as being their primary returner. So not a good look for Assumption, but that man right there, number 2, Ben Kingston, as I said before in this game, he is going to make a couple of U Sports coaches very happy with his abilities that he can show you on the field. He's just as dangerous a returner as he is a receiver, and strikes again right there for what could be the last time in his Celtics career. So definitely a big one here for Ben Kingston. Lucas Underhill makes this a 19-7 ball game as Assumption just can't catch a break here. You know, Kingston fumbles the ball before on the missed reverse from Jack Redmond, and the Crusaders recover it. And then the Crusaders start making plays of their own with the big touchdown catch from Joshua George. But then all of a sudden, just as you think that they might be able to even get some more points on the board with a long field goal attempt, the ball sails wide, falls into the arms of quite possibly the most dangerous player in the entire city. And then he takes it for a 100-plus yard touchdown. That is just bad luck that you don't really see a lot, even in the movies. But the difference between football and the movies is that football can be played and different things can happen with a much different effort. The Crusaders still have a whole second half to play with, but there is no discounting how bad this first half has been for them. They've done what they can. Sousa Diaz has been throwing the ball properly. Joshua George has made a couple of big touchdown catches. They've essentially stopped the run that Jesse Vaccarella had been going on for quite a lot of the first quarter. And now, but this is why Bishop Ryan is so good, is they just find different ways to beat you. And a lot of that is due to the coaches that they have in place calling the plays that they are calling, but also the special players that they have on their team. And the Crusaders are going to have some time. They're going to have 1 minute and 38 seconds to work with here. They still do have timeouts. The reason I believe why they haven't been able to get anything going necessarily consistently is because they haven't found a bona fide rhythm. That Joshua George touchdown catch was great to watch, but there's no way you're going to make that a consistent thing. You have to start stringing together strong runs. Obviously, the injury to Frankie Perry does not help. Sousa Diaz cannot be expected to do everything on his own. So this is where guys that normally are not viewed as stars or big playmakers, this is when those guys need to step up and then start executing their roles that they find themselves in practice and training camp. But I digress, as Sousa Diaz and the Crusader offense is going to embark on this drive. Sousa Diaz passes to his left. What a beautiful one-handed catch there from Ben Naismith. Throw was a little too far outside, but good job on Naismith for reeling that ball in and then gaining a couple of extra yards.
Make some noise, Celtics!
It's going to set up a second down. Call it like a 2nd and 5 or whatever in that ballpark. Here's Sousa Diaz taking the snap. He's going to look left, and he's going to be brought down by number 99, Julian Cook, having an absolute game-wrecking type of performance here for this Celtics defensive line. Cook in on, I believe, his 2nd sack of the game. He's got one. Kevin Kalina's got one. Iluk Baju has made some big tackles. And we're going to take a look at the replay here. So far, this offensive line has just been no match for the pass rushing presence of the Celtics defense as Sousa Diaz tries to step up once again and then falls into the arms of an interior defensive lineman for the Celtics. You can kind of see the Assumption guards and the center, you can kind of see them getting pushed around a little bit. The tackles not as much, but most of the defensive line play, most of the great defensive line play has come through the interior as they're going to kick this ball away, and Ben Kingston once again has the ball. This time he has no room to run as opposed to his 100-plus yard return touchdown that we just saw. And now the Celtics are going to embark on what is likely going to be their last offensive drive of this first half, unless they score quickly. And they have great field positioning to work with. They have enough time on the clock, and I believe they have enough timeouts to string together a methodical drive if they need to. There is still a chance for more points to go on this board, ladies and gentlemen, at the tail end of the second quarter. Here's Redmond. Hands this ball off to Vaccarella. And Vaccarella is brought down by Tejada. Tejada has met Vaccarella up the middle on a number of times, and so far Tejada has the upper hand as he brings down Vaccarella once again. You're going to see here Vaccarella tries to go to the outside a little bit, but once again, there's Tejada meeting him right up the middle, coming in like he was shot out of a cannon, and then stopping the running back in his tracks. Second down now. Clock's running, 20 seconds remaining. Redmond hands this ball to Vaccarella. Vaccarella makes a couple of moves here. He's still on his feet. Hits the C gap and then powers his way forward for a couple of extra yards there. Nice blocking from this offensive line for the Celtics, especially from the tackles, as Vaccarella has tried to make it a habit of bouncing to the outside. That would not happen unless he saw great blocks from his tackles. So that's how you know that the offensive line is playing well, is when the running back chooses to follow behind certain linemen. As we are going to get the last play of this first half here, which is likely going to be a kneel down, as we will break off for halftime. Jack Redmond kneels out the first half. As we have a ball game, folks, the score is 19-7. The Bishop Ryan Celtics are in the lead in the GHAC Senior Football Championship game. Assumption has 7 points on the board. Second half action is coming up next. You're watching the GHAC Senior Football Championship on Cable 14. See you shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the third quarter of this GHAC Senior Football Championship brought to you on Cable 14. We are at beautiful Bishop Ryan Secondary School. The weather is ripe for some mid-November football here as the Celtics currently lead the visiting Assumption Crusaders 19-7 as the Crusaders are going to get the ball to start the second half. The first half was kind of a tale of two stories for both teams as Assumption struggled to get their touchdown, which came on a big throw from quarterback Tiago Souza Diaz to wide receiver Joshua George in the end zone. Besides that, they've struggled to really find a rhythm on offense, whereas the Celtics have been scoring at will almost. And the big story of the first half obviously should be Ben Kingston on the 100-plus yard return that he had on a missed field goal. As we start the second half now. Short kick there, brought in by number 2, Henry Asarika Chan. As the Celtics hope to get a solid rhythm going for their first offensive drive of the second half. And here they come out. Souza Diaz, the quarterback. He's been playing, had a smooth, kind of poised mentality so far as he hands off to number 12, Frankie Perry. Perry is able to trudge forward for a good 4 or 5 yard gain.
Gain of a few. First down, second down coming up.
And here's the replay here as Perry gets the handoff and then fights his way through his offensive line for a couple of yards there as he's had to really claw and scratch his way forward for any ounce of yardage that he can get. Here's Souza Diaz. Mistimed throw there intended for Joshua George on a button hook.
Down coming up.
As that'll set up a quick third down here for Assumption as it looks like they're going to bring out the punting unit. Here's the replay on that last down. Souza Diaz throws just wide for Joshua George, and it looks like him and George weren't really on the same page there in terms of where George was going to be when Souza Diaz threw it. Tiago Braun on to punt this ball away. And that's going to be a short one as well. It's going to bounce around near the 35-yard line, gets flipped to Underhill. And Lucas Underhill is going to try to make some magic happen along the left sidelines. Not much room to run, however. And that's a play that we saw in the first half as there was a little bit of trickery in the backfield with the return team here.
Here we go, Celtics!
And then you'll see Kingston picks the ball up and then flips it to Underhill. When that was done in the first half, Underhill ran for a good gain, but there was not much to go. As if you have the talent on your return team to do plays like that, as Bishop Ryan does, then have at it. Here's Redmond in the offense on the field for their first drive of the second half. Ben Kingston gets the pass on a screen, but he's got nowhere to go there as he's brought down by a couple of Crusaders, including Jurge Dragic and also Hugh Scott.
Second down, Celtics.
It's going to force a second down here. As Redmond's throw was on target, everything was going well, but Kingston had nowhere to run as there weren't that many blocks there. Underhill struggled to hold on to his block. Here's Redmond handing off to Vaccarella. Vaccarella, the bruising running back, pushes forward for a good 4-yard gain. This is kind of how the Celtics started off the first half as well on offense, kind of easing into things, and then before you know it, you would just see an explosion.
Quick 3 and out, third down, Celtics.
And that's going to be a 3 and out there as the Celtics are going to punt this ball away. So 2 quick 3 and outs to start this game off. Both defenses coming out of the halftime break on fire here, as they are not relinquishing anything to the opposing offense. Here's George on the right sideline. Gets past the 55-yard line. Nice little return there for Joshua George to set his offense up in pretty favorable field positioning.
But your Celtics defense is back on the field. Give it up for your Celtics defense.
Here's Souza Diaz and the offense going to try their hand at scoring some points early on here in this third quarter. Here he is, he takes the snap, throws to number 22. That's Brody Weber, and Weber is able to push forward for a nice couple of yards there. Both offenses utilizing the short passing game to start out this third quarter.
Make some noise for your Celtics.
As Souza Diaz, it's been pretty clear so far, and it is clear now that the Assumption is going to have to still look for that consistent way to score points here, as they haven't really found a way to work around the talent that this Bishop Ryan defense has, especially through the front seven with the linebackers at the defensive line. Here's Souza Diaz. He's going to throw deep, steps up over the middle, and that is intercepted by the Celtics. Number 11, Adriano Infernari, with the big interception. And that was a ball that just should not have been thrown. That was a desperation attempt there from Thiago Souza Diaz to throw that ball up to his receiver. And then Adriano Infernari ends up with the interception. Let's look at the replay here. Souza Diaz faces some pressure from his left side and then just steps up and uncorks one. But the ball is pretty underthrown, and it's into the path of two Celtics there as it's brought down by Adriano Infernari. So once again, Redmond and the Celtics offense are going to get set up. And Vaccarella gets the pitch. He's going to try to work his way to the outside. He's brought down pretty quickly, though, by some Crusaders, including number 6, Mateus Souza Diaz, sharing the same surname as the quarterback. One must wonder if they are related in some way. If there's one consistent positive that we can look at with Assumption, it's their defense, and in particular their front seven, as they have pretty well eliminated any chance of Bishop Ryan establishing an offensive rushing attack up the middle, as Vaccarella's had to work outside for everything, including right now. But he does his job here as Jesse Vaccarella gets the first down for the Celtics. Down just past the 45-yard line. You get the replay here. Vaccarella on a counter play right here hits his gap as intended, and then from here on out, after breaking the tackle, it's just a battle of speed. Nice job for Vaccarella to get that first down there. Here's Redmond. He's going to throw over the middle, intended for Ben Kingston. What a throw and catch. That had to be put in the absolute perfect spot, and Jack Redmond did it. Fits the ball into an impossible gap here as Redmond steps up and then makes the throw, just beats the defender coming in to make the play as Ben Kingston reels it in for another first down. Covered there by Henry Asarika Chan, who has had his hands full today when dealing with this Bishop Ryan passing attack. Here's Redmond handing off to Vaccarella. Vaccarella going to bounce to the left side, and now he's going to go inside, makes a move. Jesse Vaccarella going to push forward. He gets down at the 3 or 4 yard line. That is the Jesse Vaccarella that we were used to seeing in the first quarter before some of his attempts were stopped by this front seven for Assumption. But now Vaccarella seems to have gotten his mojo back here as he bounces outside here. And then from there, it's just about following the blockers, following the most easily accessible path to the end zone. And Vaccarella, with his frame, is not an easy guy to bring down at all.
First and a lot. Make some noise for your offense. Celtics.
And they get pushed back there after a penalty. Fortunately for Vaccarella, his big rush did not account for much here. Somebody else on the offense got a penalty. Here's first down now. Redmond stepping back. Throws over the middle. Short little pass to Andrew Centorami.
Pass is complete. Second down.
Centorami with his third catch of the day. He's had quite a nice effect, a nice impact on this Bishop Ryan offense thus far.
Let's go,
Redmond,
offense!
you can see how poised he is, how calm he is feeling when he takes the snap in the pocket. Right there, identifies his receiver and then gets rid of the ball immediately. It's going to bring up a second down. Redmond takes a snap. He's going to look right. He's going to step up this time, going to try to get it done himself, and then slides after a gain of, call it 6 or 7 yards there. So that's going to be a third down now for the Celtics. And it looks like they are going to bring on the field goal unit to try to get 3 more points on the board here.
For your Celtics.
And then what I was just saying about Redmond being so calm, you can see it here. He looks for his options, doesn't see anyone, and then steps up immediately. But what does he do right there, ladies and gentlemen? He slides. That's something you don't really see a lot from quarterbacks at the high school level who often have this sense of invincibility and they want to play hero ball and they want to get contact and lower the shoulder and whatnot. But if you're trying to play at an extended level, if you're trying to play at the next level as well in U Sport, well, then it comes down to sustaining your health. And Jack Redmond did the right thing right there. And he did the thing that coaches like to see, which is sliding. So nice job from Redmond there and picking up a couple of extra yards to set up the Celtics on a long field goal attempt here, which is going to rely on the big left leg, of Luka Horvat. And Horvat's kick, I'm not sure if that was tipped or not, but it was underkicked by a fair bit as Asarika Chan is going to try his hand at a return here, gets down just past the 20-yard line.
Flag on the play.
You can't touch anybody. It's just very sensitive.
Clock continues to run here as well, as the sides come on to make a change. Here is the return here from Asarika Chan, and then he just tries to do everything he can with how short of a kick it was. And credit to him, he made something happen there. He's brought down hard, however, at the end.
Defense is back, folks. Make some noise for your defense.
And here comes Tiago Souza Diaz and the rest of the Assumption offense. This is getting down to crunch time here for Assumption if they want to make a comeback in this game. Souza Diaz's screen pass is stopped quite short
Pass is complete.
as the offensive player is brought up by number 15, Andrew Miko. It's going to set up a second down here for the Crusaders as they are backed
Make some noise,
way
Celtics.
up into their own territory.
Defense.
You don't want to relinquish too many offensive opportunities to score points, especially against a team like this. So that's why at this point drives start becoming so valuable, and then what you do on those drives also becomes even more valuable. So let's see what Souza Diaz can do as he completes a pass over the middle, which is going to fall incomplete, intended for Joshua George. Pass was knocked out by a Bishop Ryan defender. Nice defense there from the Celtics to stop that little passing attempt there. It's going to set up a third down as the Crusaders are going to come on with their punting unit. Here's the replay. Souza Diaz, good protection there for him, uncorks one, and then that is just dropped by George. It's not as much of a play made on it by Miko as it was a drop by Joshua George. He's going to be kicking himself about that one. and Tiago Braun is going to concede another safety, and this is going to be a 21-7 ball game for the Celtics.
For your Celtics.
Not much to go off in this third quarter for Assumption. A lot of quick 3-and-outs from them.
Third quarter.
Sousa Diaz, he is staying calm, but after a while, the play calls will be forced to become a little bit more aggressive if this is the fashion in which the game is going to keep trending towards. Here come the Celtics. They're going to get started at the 35-yard line because of the conceded safety. So fresh set of downs for Redmond in the offense to come on and try to score some more points and put this game away even more. Like I said earlier on, these teams are competing for a chance to play in OFSA, which is something that every high school football team has as a goal in their mind as the season starts, as Jesse Vaccarella is going to get the pitch outwards. It looks like there was a bit of a miscommunication there between Vaccarella and Redmond, as Redmond kind of was surprised, or it looked like he was surprised to see Vaccarella going to the right side. And that will come at a loss of yards, as the Celtics are going to stare at a 2nd and long here with a minute and 35 seconds to play about here in this third quarter. Quite a fast third quarter. Here's Redmond, takes the snap. He's looking even more, still looking for a target, unleashes it, and then completes it to Andrew Centorami, who gets both feet in on the sidelines. What a great throw and catch from Redmond to Centorami. It's not going to be enough for first down, but it's going to be very close. It's going to set up a 3rd and short, and it looks like the Celtics are going to come on and punt the ball away. So they are not in any hurry to score more points, which is analytically it would be the smart thing to do, as if you force your hand too much before you know it, you might let the other team back into the ball game. And that ball is punted away by number 11, Adriano Infinari, into the hands of Joshua George. George going to try to make a move happen, but he's brought down hard by number 85.
Well covered by your Celtics.
Only about a minute left to play in this third quarter. The Crusaders have got to be feeling the pressure by now, as they are down 21-7 with now under a minute to play in this third quarter. So points will have to be scored, and they're going to have to be scored quickly, as Sousa Diaz looks over the middle and fires a ball to Asarika Chan, but it is too high and it falls incomplete. It's going to set up a 2nd down. Besides the one long touchdown throw from Sousa Diaz to Joshua George, we haven't really seen the Crusaders attack the air in an explosive fashion. They've mostly been completing a lot of short passes. When Sousa Diaz sees the opportunity, he will throw a short, call it 10 to 20 yard intermediate throw. But besides the one throw to George, we haven't really seen a long pass attempt of, call it 30+ yards. So maybe that's something that we will see later on in the fourth quarter. But for now, Sousa Diaz takes a snap on 2nd and then throws to Frankie Perry. Perry tries to make a move there, but he does not fool number 21, Nico DiFilippo, who brings him down. What a huge tackle. And Perry is a little bit slow to get up now. He's on his feet now, but there is a slight limp, and he was brought down quite hard by DiFilippo. Here's the replay. Nice pitch and catch from Sousa Diaz to Perry. And then Perry looks like just takes too many stutter steps, and I'm wondering if he might have hurt himself going down, because it kind of looked like he did the splits a little bit there. I'm wondering if his pain is something to do with that. And it does appear to be his right knee, as we're going to see one more time. Yeah, it looks like his leg locks as soon as DiFilippo comes in, and then plus the contact, Perry kind of slides back. So it's just an uncomfortable series of events there, and it just devolves into that. So hopefully the young man is okay as Thiago Braun punts this one back to the Celtics. And it is caught just in bounds by Ben Kingston. Obviously a flag flies for the no yards penalty, and there's Kingston. He knows. He knows the type of impact that he's been having, and it looks like he kind of has a feeling, or let's call it an inkling, of what this game could end up as, which is a GHAC Senior Football Championship for the Bishop Ryan Celtics. If that is the case, most of it will end up being on the heels, or a lot of it will end up being on the heels of Kingston, so he does deserve a lot of the credit. But this entire team has played spectacularly today, from Jack Redmond to Vaccarella, the offensive line blocking when they need to, creating great gaps for Vaccarella to run through.
21-7.
Defense, the front seven has been unstoppable. There was little to no chance of Assumption establishing an interior rushing presence, as the interior defensive line for the Celtics has just clamped down and eliminated any chance of that. So if you're on the Celtics coaching staff, you can't help but be absolutely superbly thrilled with the effort that you've seen in all facets of the game from your team. And speaking of Redmond, here he is. For the first play of the fourth quarter, Celtics still lead 21-7. And Redmond has more points on his mind as he flips this one to Kingston. Kingston trying to work his way outside. He's got no room to run. Instead, pushes forward for a couple of extra yards there. That'll probably go down as a gain of 3 to 4 yards.
5 on the play.
And I believe that was the last play of the third quarter, as we're now seeing both teams change ends here.
Second and 5 for your Celtics.
And here's Redmond and the Celtics getting it started on the first play of the fourth quarter. Redmond looking for someone. He's going to be brought down for a sack. That is Christian King in on the sack there.
Third down for your Celtics.
That's one of the first times that Redmond has been sacked today, showing you the great pass protection that he has seen from his offensive line. Then you'll see King along the left side of the screen. He just kind of beats the left tackle with a little bit of a feint there. But we have seen just a great effort from this Celtics offensive line today. It's going to be punted away by Infernari. George back to receive. And George receives it around the 3-yard line. He's going to try to fight his way in, but he's stopped just short of the 10.
Defense back on the field.
And in the final quarter of play here in this GHAC Senior Football Championship game, we are going to see the Assumption offense led by Thiago Souza Diaz. Here's the return. George kind of realizes that he has nowhere to run, and that's why you see the slide at the very end. A little bit of a late hit there from 52, but the referee chooses to let the boys play on, and there you go. So here's Souza Diaz and the offense backed way up into their own end. Ball's going to be spotted at the 9-yard line. And here's Souza Diaz. Hands the ball off to Perry. Perry makes a move and then rounds off to the outside, but is brought down by a couple of Celtics linebackers. And now a little bit of chippiness here. That usually signifies that Emotions are starting to flare between these two teams, and there seems to be a bit of a mental edge being set by the Celtics. Here's the replay as Perry gets the handoff, breaks the tackle there, and then fumbles the football. So that I missed that, but he fumbles the football a few times, and it does look like it is recovered by the Crusaders. And then at the tail end of the replay, you see a bit of the chippiness there between Perry and a defender.
Go defense! Let's go defense! Go team!
Here's Sousa Diaz, hands the ball off once again to Perry, and Perry is brought down hard. Who else but 99 Julian Cook? He has had a great impact on this game. A couple of sacks, a couple of big tackles. You'll see the replay here. There's Cook, third and on from the inside. He just kind of falls, and it looks like his blocker kind of just throws him into the path of Perry. So maybe not as much credit to give to Cook, but still, he's finding his way involved in multiple different plays here, and he's been quite a game breaker here for the Celtics defense.
Let's go, baby! Take it all, baby!
Here's Sousa Diaz. Excuse me, this is Braun who's going to punt this ball away, and that is a high snap over the head of Braun, and Braun is going to he's going to try to kick the ball away, but he is tackled, and it falls into the hands of number 0, Jacob Grajales. That's another touchdown for the Bishop Ryan Celtics, and my goodness, we now have ourselves a 27-7 ball game. Just an unfortunate play all around for Assumption with the high snap. Braun not able to get the kick off. Even if he was tackled in the end zone, that would have been a better result for them instead of what just happened with the ball finding its way into the hands of Grajales, who scored a touchdown. And Grajales stays on the field there for the extra point attempt.
Who's driving? Can you drive it? We're going to get a bus.
Luka Horvat is going to try to boot this ball in to extend the lead to 21 points. And now we have a 28-7 ball game after Horvat converted the extra point. You know, you don't ever want to say it's over until it is over, but it does look like it might be over. And that is just from the way that the momentum has been going for both of these teams. Bishop Ryan continuously scoring, continually stopping the offensive drives for Assumption. It's been an all-around dominant performance here today for the Celtics. There is still 9.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, but given everything we have seen, what an all-around performance from Bishop Ryan. Here's Horvat about to kick this one away, and it's another short one. And number 11, Ben Naismith, will fall on it after it bounces just behind his head. Crusader players, credit to them, are still keeping a good attitude. You can see the body language has not really fallen too much. If they can drive down this field, score quickly, and then get a quick stop, keep that same offensive momentum, they have a chance to get back into this ball game. It's going to be difficult. It's going to take everybody executing the roles, but there is a chance. Here's Sousa Diaz on first down. Throws over the middle. Ball was intended for Ben Naismith. What a great throw, but Naismith unable to hang on to it. It's going to force a second down. And if these last 9 minutes and 10 seconds goes the way that most of the people here want, and including the home team in the way that they want, then this is going to be a field rife with celebration. As we dip under the 9-minute mark, Souza Diaz on second down. He's going to throw over the middle, and he's got Naismith.
Pass is complete, first down.
Same looking play design. It might be different, but it looks similar as Naismith reels that one in and then pushes forward for a first down. Haven't really seen too many successful plays through the air, but the Souza Diaz to Naismith connection has been reliable today. Naismith, with his big frame and his reliable hands, has been able to make some tough catches and then stretch the chains when he needs to. Here's Souza Diaz, throws left, and given the way that you view football, that could either be a defensive pass interference or it could just be a clean defensive play, but regardless, the ball was intended for Henry HWCDSB, and just as the ball found its way near him, he was bumped by Nico DiFilippo, who looked like he was trying to make a play on the ball. We're going to see the replay right here. Here's Souza Diaz. He throws to the left outside, and then, DiFilippo mistimes his break on the ball and then runs into HWCDSB. Honestly, it's probably lucky for DiFilippo that it was not a pass interference penalty, but I do appreciate the intensity and the passion. Here's Souza Diaz. Completes this one to number 14. This is Zach Fromell. Fromell gets past the 55-yard line for a second down.
Make some noise for your defense.
You get the replay here. Here's Souza Diaz. Again, he's still looking poised in the pocket. Finds Fromell in stride. Nice throw. And Fromell takes the brunt of the punishment there. Souza Diaz looking for Fromell again, but throws an interception. And yes, the referees, I believe, are going to count that as an interception. That is number 5, Luka Horvat. Horvat with the interception, who has been the reliable extra point and field goal kicker, comes up with an interception in the GHAC Senior Championship game. Here's Souza Diaz. He's got Naismith open to his left, but instead looks like he tries to find Fromell in stride. Overthrows him way too much. And then, Horvat comes down with the interception if they do end up ruling it as one, and they do. Interesting call. Looked like the ball bobbled out a little bit, but regardless, here is Vaccarella going to try to push his way forward, brought down by a couple of Crusaders in tandem, including 22 Brody Weber, who we have seen make some plays on offense.
Second down for your Celtics.
We dip under the 7-minute mark here as we have a second down for Bishop Ryan. Here's Redmond handing off to Vaccarella. Vaccarella pushing his way forward for, I believe, a first down. Excuse me, that is not Jesse Vaccarella. That is number 30.
First down, Celtics.
And here the ball carrier just powers his way forward, but just does not stop his legs from moving. Very nice play there by the ball carrier. Nice blocking as well from the interior of the Celtic offensive line. Here's Redmond handing the ball off to 30 once again. He's brought down by a couple of Crusaders this time, including number 65, I believe, Leandros Jasudis. Here's the replay. Redmond fakes the sweep in front of him, hands off to number 30, and then 30 runs into the arms of Jasudis, and then also Raf Tejada, who has made a number of key defensive stops for the Crusaders today. Here's Redmond handing off to Kyler Johnson. Johnson gains maybe 1 1 yard there as he's brought down again by GHAC. Starting to make his presence known towards the end of the game here, GHAC, with a couple of big tackles that he has strung together consistently.
Third down, with 5 minutes.
Clock continues to run here as we see the replay of the Kyler Johnson run. And Johnson just runs right into the outstretched arms of, looked like Brody Weber, and then also GHAC, who got in that play. Ball's punted away back to the Crusaders. Here's George on the return. And George just steps out of bounds. The crowd is eager, and they are anticipating what many believe will be the final result of this game, which is a senior GHAC championship for the Celtics. Here's first down for Souza Diaz on the offense. He takes a snap and he rolls right. Throws over the middle. Ball was intended for Joshua George. A bit of a dangerous throw there, and it falls incomplete. As you'll see, Souza Diaz starts rolling immediately and then has to throw across his body. And that was just in a really hard to reach spot for not only Souza Diaz, but also for George to make a play on that ball. Here's Souza Diaz. Tosses left. Intended for George yet again, but that falls incomplete. Too far outside. Going to set up a third down here for the Crusaders. And it looks like they are going to bring on their punting unit, as there is Tiago Braun, who is getting set to punt this one back to the Celtics. There's Tiago Braun punting that ball away. Here's Underhill with the return, and Underhill doesn't have anywhere to go as he is forced out of bounds, not even a few seconds after he reels the ball in. You can kind of see a little bit of the congratulatory embraces that the Celtics are giving each other, as they kind of seem to know what's coming.
She's still there? Oh, there she is. Hi. Good, you?
That was Sybil. I went to Cathedral, remember? That was Sybil. Did I move?
Here comes Redmond in the offense.
I didn't go to the boys' school. I went to the girls' school.
Redmond hands the ball off to number 30 yet again. And then 30 is brought down by Tejada. Just as he tries to escape to the outside, Tejada reels him in for what seems to be his upteenth tackle yet today. Clock continues to run. We are going to be at the 3-minute mark by the time that this play goes on. Here's the quarterback throwing deep, and he completes the ball to Milo Domanski for a big chunk. Domanski gets wrestled down around the 20-yard line. As, excuse me, folks, the quarterback is not Jack Redmond anymore. There is Jack Redmond on your TV screens, number 3. The backup quarterback is now in number 16. who starts his first drive off with a bang by completing a big pass to Milo Demansky.
Make some noise for your Celtics.
What a great throw there, great touch. Hits Demansky in stride behind the defender, and then Demansky is able to run forward for an extra couple of yards. First down for the Celtics offense. Quarterback throws intended for number 30, but that ball is overthrown by a bit. It's going to set up a second down. Celtics may be able to tack on some more points to this drive if they do stay in field goal range. We are into that stage of the game where the clock does stop after each play. I believe it is when the clock dips below the 3-minute mark. That is when, after each play, the clock stops. Number 30 gets the handoff yet again. Tackled for a loss of yards, I believe. And on that play is Brody Weber, but also number 7, GHAC. So we're going to see a field goal attempt here from the Celtics. Here's the replay. Yeah, number 30 just has nowhere to go. And the first one on that tackle was GHAC. Nice job from Dragic on wrapping up immediately. That is what they call a textbook tackle in the rule book. As Horvat is going to try to make this a 31-7 ball game, and he does. So Luka Horvat comes on after having a really great day already, and then extends the Celtics lead by 24 points with just under 2 minutes to play in this game. A senior GHAC football championship, almost an assured thing for this team. And one thing that I do know about growing up in this city is how much the fans, the players, the coaching staff, the football alumni, how much they care for the great sport of football at Bishop Ryan. Historically, this has not been a dominant program in the city. But from last year, working their way up, to this year, with finally taking the crown away from the previous 3-time winning champions in the city, Bishop Tonus, these Celtics, this team right here, will go down in school history as perhaps the team that kicked off the Bishop Ryan dominance in the city of Hamilton. Crusaders getting maybe 1 or 2 more chances to put some more points on the board, but they're going to have to move quickly with whatever plans they have in their mind. Here's Horvat. Punts the ball away to Joshua George, and George has just about nowhere to run, brought down by number 85 at the end of the play. Sousa Diaz and the offense are going to get set up. It looks like at the 29-yard line is where the referee spotted the ball.
Let's go, Michael!
So a lot of room, a lot of yards to eat up here if the Crusaders want to find themselves in some scoring position. Here's Sousa Diaz going to air this one out and completes it in stride to Drew Robeck.
Pass is complete at midfield.
What a great throw from Thiago Sousa Diaz. From my vantage point, it looked like Adriano Infernari was going to have his second interception of the day, but instead, Sousa Diaz's pass was so perfect. It hit Warbeck in stride. Here's the replay. Gets great protection, knows where he's going to go, And then just over the outstretched hand of Adriano Infernari completes this ball to Drew Warbeck, who, that's the first time we've called his name yet today. And here he is again. Souza Diaz throws what could be an interception. And the referee is going to rule it an incomplete pass. Lucas Underhill tried to make the play on the ball. Oh, and that will go down as an interception. That is my bad, folks. It looked like he stepped out of bounds when he came down, but he was ruled in bounds, and that is going to be an interception for Lucas Underhill. Not a bad way to end this game if you are Underhill, making a big play like that. Look at him. He just goes up and grabs it. What a great play from Underhill. As the Celtics, even though they've been in it the entire game, they are now firmly in the driver's seat to put this one away, as they are going to essentially run out the clock with continuous runs. In soccer, they call it parking the bus. But here in football, it's just called running out the clock.
Second down for your Celtics.
It's going to be a second down for the Celtics. I'm fairly sure that the Bishop Ryan head coach is not too inclined to have his backup chucking up deep passes to end this game off. So, which is why you are seeing the continuous run approach. The clock is continuing to run right now, so I'm assuming that the referees just note that this game is kind of out of hand for assumption, therefore they're going to let this clock run. Time keeps going down here. And it looks like a timeout was called by the Crusaders. The clock has stopped on the scoreboard, and then both teams have kind of stopped getting set in their formations, and I believe there might be a penalty of some sorts. Either way, Bishop Ryan is moving back towards their own end zone.
Put your hands up in the air. Make some noise, Celtics.
Braids in her hair, yeah.
And the quarterback is blown up on that play as the ball is handed off to number 36. So they have yet another running back in. But the quarterback took one heck of a shot. Here's the replay here. You're going to see number 16 just gets blown up immediately. That's Brody Weber in on the play, who blew up the quarterback as number 36 struggled to find any room to run there. But something of a miracle that that quarterback is still okay to play in this game, as Infernari is going to come on to punt this ball back to the Crusaders. And it looks like we're just waiting for a player to come on for the Celtics. Ball is punted back to the Crusaders. George going to get out of this one. And George steps out of bounds. So what a game for the Celtics. What an all-around performance that they have had. Everybody has executed, and now these players and these coaches can't help but feeling some sort of confidence going into OFSA competition, as these Celtics look ready to contend with anyone around here. shades of the Bishop Tonus Titans dominance, especially from last year, comes to mind when I think about this game. But don't get it twisted. These Celtics are a whole different animal, excuse me. Here's Sousa Diaz completing some of his last throws of the game. This time to number 14, Zach Vermel. And Vermel is able to get a first down right around the 25-yard line. Sousa Diaz. Here you see his quick completion to Vermel. Credit to Diaz, he's been spacing the ball around a lot, finding a lot of different targets to get involved. Hasn't really looked shaken up a lot, though he is on the losing end of this game. He seemed to be playing very well, very calm, as he uncorks one there intended for Vermel. Vermel unable to bring it down. Likely the last couple of plays of the game are going to come right now, including on this next one. 7 seconds to play.
That's it. Ryan!
Celtics are eager with anticipation to celebrate all the efforts that have been put into this game as the clock has run down, and now Assumption is going to come on for the last play of this ball game. Here's Sousa Diaz. Throws over the middle. This one's caught by number 4, Drew Warbeck. And there you have it, folks. Drew Warbeck is tackled, and the Bishop Ryan Celtics have won the Senior GHAC Football Championship against the Assumption Crusaders. What a season it has been. What great moments we have seen as now the Celtics earn their opportunity to compete in OFSA. In a game that was really indicative of two different styles of football and also two different stories, the Celtics come out and dominate on their home field against the Assumption Crusaders, defeat them 31-7 quite confidently as they now get set to compete in OFSA. You are watching senior high school football action on Cable 14. You just watched the GHAC Senior Football Championship. That is it, as the Bishop Ryan Celtics defeat Assumption 31-7 before heading off to compete in OFSA. Yeah, I am up here. No one's with me, though.
Fuck it.